She says that Clementine resembles a wizard getting ready for a midnight dance. She even goes ahead to say that Clementine's mouth is like Roy's, and her mouth looks like an open ulcer. So I have put that trait in a sentence. Clementine is abusive. Then I have given the meaning of being abusive is she uses harsh words. She uses harsh words to describe her husband's mistress, Clementine. Now that is the meaning of being abusive. Then now I've added the example from the poem where she calls Clementine that she looks like a wizard getting ready for a midnight dance. Then, so that is how we answer questions with character traits. Then when answering lessons, they can ask you to explain what lessons you have learned from a certain poem. You could say, when we are answering lessons in poetry, we do not say I learned that. I learned that stealing is bad. I learned to mind my business. I learned not to abuse my friend. We don't use I learned that, or I learned to, or I learned not to when answering lessons. When we are answering lessons, we use proverbs, wise sayings, and moral statements. For example, let me give an example. I would say Africans ought to love and appreciate their dark skin complexion. Now that is my moral statement that I have derived from the poem, My Husband's Tongue is Bitter, where this Clementine mistress was bleaching herself. I can derive my lesson by saying Africans ought to love and appreciate their dark skin complexion. Full stop. Now I add the explanation from the poem. The answer is incomplete without you, is incomplete if you do not add an explanation from the poem. So after me saying Africans ought to love and appreciate their dark skin complexion, full stop, I add my explanation and say Clementine, Lawino's co-wife, does all sorts of things to change her original color, like dusting powder on her face, which makes her look more pale. So I have added an explanation that shows that this lady Clementine does not appreciate her skin color. Then another lesson, if I decide to use a proverb, I can say, think twice before you act. Now that is my proverb. I said when we are answering lessons, we use proverbs and moral statements. The first lesson I gave you was a moral statement. You can just create your own. Then number 2, you can decide to use proverbs. For example, think twice before you act, full stop, then I add the explanation. Clementine, Lawino's co-wife, tries out everything that makes her look white by bleaching her skin. But in the end, these lightening cosmetics are going to bring her harm by causing for her health issues. For example, she may end up getting skin cancer. So now the first one I used a moral statement. Then number 2, I used a proverb. So you state a proverb, then relate it to the poem. Every answer in literature you have to relate it to the poem. You relate it back and you back it up. Don't just leave it hanging without an explanation or backup from the poem given before you, or passage depending. Then lastly, when answering questions do with feelings, they can ask you, how do you feel towards the persona in the poem? Now they ask you of your feelings, how you feel towards the persona. When answering feeling questions, we do not mention the word I feel in my answer. Do not say I feel bad or I feel sad. You don't mention the word feel in your answer. You avoid it. So one, you can either say, you can use I am, and then I'm going to tell you the third way. So the first answer could be, I hate Clementine for bleaching her skin with whitening cosmetics and